Hey YouTube, what's happening? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update on Litecoin. This can be LTC USD. Right now we're at $57.96. We're down 1.19%. So guys, what we're going to dig into today, we're going to be on the 12-hour chart. We're going to go into the day a little bit, maybe even down into the 4-hour, but the main emphasis I want to put is on the 12-hour chart right now. I think it's important what's happening with it and some of the areas that we're losing, some of the areas we're finding support on, some different things I want to talk to you about. So we're going to get into that. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. If you enjoy what we do here, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll keep trying to bring them to you each day. So what I'm looking at here, guys, there hasn't been a ton of movement, obviously, in Litecoin. This whole area here, I mean, this started back on March 6th. We've just kind of been in this little range here. We really haven't went up a ton. We haven't went down a ton. Just been kind of moving sideways. And that's how you know that a break is going to come eventually here. We're getting very close to either we're going to have to break to the upside or we're going to have to break to the downside. And the reason why I say that is this price has pushed up here. It came back down, tried again. We got rejected, came back down, went back up, got rejected again, and now we're coming back down. You can see that doji candle that's getting put in. Now we haven't closed at that point yet, but that doji candle, that's the bulls and the bears right now just fighting back and forth. Picture that fight just back and forth. Are we going to break up or are we going to break down? And if we break down, we would need to break down through this 50 moving average in blue, which we're hoping to find support on. If that breaks, we're looking at this white trend line that I've had for quite a while. There, we're going to see if that holds. Now, if we start getting candle closes below that, what I would look for is to see if we find support on this 100-day moving average right here at around $49.85. We'll call it $50, and that would be a psychological round number there. So that would be a good spot to look for a retracement. The next spot I would look for, guys, is down around this area for support, where we had this little Harami pattern that pushed us to the upside, and that would be around $43, and then I'd be looking down to this 20 or 200-day moving average as very strong support, and this also intermediate term yellow trend line as very strong support. Those are the key areas that need to hold. Now to the upside, we would have to get back up over this white line that I have there. So that's overhead resistance at $61.11. Let me do this as well for us, guys, so you can see. Then the next area after that would be up here, and we're just going to go off the real bodies. So that would be around $63.42, and then it would be up to around $68 to $70, we'll call it right there. That's going to be very strong overhead resistance due to all the chop that we had over here. There's a lot happening over here. And now, guys, what we've done, this whole fall that took place, we've made it up. And now we just need to continue with this yellow trend line that I have at the bottom here, this intermediate term uptrend for Litecoin. That's what we need to see continuously happening. Just holding that, holding that, holding that, so that we can eventually get into that longer term uptrend and dig ourselves out of the bear market. But like I was saying, this decreasing volume is a really, really bad sign. And that's something that not a lot of people pay attention to, and you need to. If a move is going up, you don't want to see the volume going down. You want the volume swelling up through this move, getting stronger. So that's a huge red flag for me right now that we're still due for that nice pullback at some point. You know, it could have happened today. Absolutely. You can see how hard we've been fighting, and we could get a break. Could we still push a couple more days to the sideways before we find out if we're going to break up or down? Absolutely. And here, guys, we also lost the 20 EMA so far for the day unless we get back up above it, this green moving average, this 20 EMA that we basically held for support this whole time all the way up through this move. So, you know, keep that in mind that we are below that right now. We're going to have to see where we close today, and also pay attention to that 50 moving average and that white trend line. I can't emphasize how important those are. The next thing we're going to go to is the RSI. Check out these oscillators and see what they're telling us. All right, so right now we're pointed down here, guys. We've been losing strength. Our price was going up. Our RSI is going down. This is the trend line that I would draw. So just a rough one, guys, somewhere right in there. We need to break up through that to continue to the upside, and that's obviously not the case right now. What we'd be looking for is support to come in around that area there, around that 37 on the RSI. What it almost looks like we're forming here is sort of like a descending triangle on this RSI. You're having these lower highs that are coming in, and we're going to see if we can get this flat bottom, at least find some support off there. And remember, about 70% of the time, 70 to 73% of the time, a descending triangle will break to the downside. and about 27% to 30% of the time it'll break to the upside. I have a couple of tutorials on descending triangles. Go ahead and check them out in my playlist, guys. I think chart patterns are very important. They can give you clues to what's going on, and then you can kind of formulate a plan. So that's what I like to look at, but the RSI is more bearish, obviously. Right now we still have more room to the downside. We're at 48. We could definitely get down and test that 40 area. Next thing I want to look at is the MACD and see how that's going. So the MACD, guys, we crossed through. We're breaking down right now. It's just heading to the downside. The histogram's in the negative. We're just going to have to see what happens. You can see the volume there. A little bit of selling off taking place. Let's hit the Bollinger Bands. So everything right now is looking a little more bearish, besides the bullish things of our moving averages. We're holding as support so far. Our trend lines we're holding as support. So those are the bullish things. But there's a lot of bearish things in terms of the oscillators and the candles, some of the stuff that's playing out here. So just take that into consideration. Right up here, we are getting tight on the bands again on the 12 hour. So this is also showing that we're going to be due for a break to that upside or downside. The middle band is up above this little doji candle right now, so it is acting as overhead resistance. Keep that in mind. Okay. Let's see here. I want to do the stock RSI with you. And these are just the ones I like to use. I like to go through and I'll make a little chart and I'll say, hey, you know, this is the bullish oscillators, these are the bearish oscillators, what are the candles doing, what's the volume doing, and then formulate a plan out of that. That's just how I like to do it. So I'm kind of taking you through the way that I do it right here. Now, on the stock RSI, so this is looking a little more bullish. It's very oversold there, and it's looking like it wants to hook to the upside. So this is one that I would probably put in the bullish camp right there. If we do get that crossover, you see that crossover is very important. So keep that in mind. That's one I would put in the more bullish camp. Let's see if there's any other ones I want to do with you guys. I was checking out a few the other day. Let's see. I want to check out the chop zone once. Alright, that's not one I want to use. I must have been thinking something else. I'm sorry, guys. So, remember this. Go over. We've been rejected up at the top here with these wicks, and we've tried 3 times to get up over top. Our volume's decreasing. The RSI is looking a little more ugly right now. The Bollinger Bands, we're getting a squeeze, but we're below that middle band, which is important. And these are all the things. And then we went over the overhead resistance around that 62 or 63, and then about that $68 to $70 range. There's a lot of overhead resistance there. You know, in the bullish cases, we're still up above the white trend line. We're still up above this yellow trend line. We're up above the moving averages, which are good, besides this 20 EMA, which we are losing right now. You got to keep that in the back of your mind always. So Litecoin now, guys, we're at 57.88. We're down 1.33. We basically just have to wait for the break. That's what it is. We have to wait for the break to see which way the market makers are going to take us, and that's what we have to do. So God bless each and every one of you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Like, subscribe if you enjoy what we do here, and I may try to get out one more chart pattern today or a DigiByte video if I get the time. So God bless you all.